Good morning, everyone. My name is Audrey. I'm stitchywitch42 here on FlossTube and over on Instagram. This is my channel about cross-stitch, life, the universe, and everything. And this is Thing. Thing and I decided that we needed to do a video today, and I'm going to set him down on the table so that I can get into all the stuff that I want to get into. So give me just a moment to rearrange some stuff here. Hi there. Rearranged my camera, got some stuff. I have my table full of things that I would like to share with you today. Today is Thursday, the 21st day of September 2023, the first day of fall. It's been a while since I've done a video. Those of you who have been around for a while and watched my videos, you know the reasons why. I saw the surgeon yesterday, and when I first went in, his nurse told me that they were going to reschedule my surgery to have my appendix removed. I said, till when? And she said, until the 24th of October. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. My husband is having surgery that day. He has to have some teeth removed. So it's oral surgery, but it's still surgery. Anyway, she said, okay, don't worry about it. We'll leave your appointment on the 10th as is, and they're going to reschedule somebody else. So my appendix will be removed on October 10th, a mere 19 days from today, and I'm ready for it. That's all I want to say about that. So, it has been a while since I've recorded a video. I have my notebook with me. I don't know when the last day was I recorded a video. Doesn't matter, it was the last video. This one is going to be a lot of talking because it's been a while and I've got a lot to share. But I want to start with some happy mail that I received not too long after my last video. I got a package in the mail one night, and it was from Chris Yo, As the Yo Flies. And she sent me an amazing box full of goodies. And I shared pictures of this on my Instagram, which is also stitchywitch42. And it's a public Instagram. You don't have to apply to see my posts on Instagram. My Instagram is public, so if you want to go over there and look at my pictures, please do. But she sent me this beautiful box, and I want to share that with you because this is just gorgeous. And there was a card that was very similar in style to this that I ended up using and creating a piece to go in my journal. And in this box are all sorts of bits and bobs. There's some treasure braid, there's some cording, there's a little hanger, there's a little bobbin that I have already dyed with some alcohol inks because I have a project in mind for it. There's a bag with a light bulb in it, there's stickers, there's cutout pieces, there's shells, there's rocks, there's brads, there's a spring. All sorts of amazing little bits and bobs that I've already made use of some of them, and I will make use of more of them. Along with all of that, she sent this gorgeous piece of fabric, and I've already used some of that in my journal. And you can see the pictures of what I did with some of her bits and bobs and some of that fabric again on my Instagram. I also received, oh, that's where that's at. Let me go over there. I received a package from Mary Lee. Right? This package is kind of squishy. I have to tell you that when I opened up this package and I saw what was in it, I started laughing. On my video, I told you how I created thing. And I was talking you through how I created the wool ball to make the pincushion on thing. And the issues that I had and the conversations with my children, because I was lacking something that the video I used to create that said I needed. And I get this package from Mary Lee. And I opened it up, and in the package are control top pantyhose. I snorted and giggled out loud. My husband came out to find out what was going on, and I told him. And then I opened it up, and she has a note in here. And I love the fact that this is the front half of a card. She tore the back off, so she's recycling her cards to make notes. And I love that idea. Words, they've never gotten easier for me. But the first thing she says on this card is, Audrey, no judgment. Mary Lee, you made my evening. I laughed, I giggled, I enjoyed it so much. And she also included some calendar pages that I can use in journaling. They have wonderful pictures of bugs. Again, the texture of the paper is just phenomenal. And mushrooms. So I wanted to say thank you to Mary Lee for making me laugh and for giving me all the pantyhose I'm probably ever going to need to make wool balls. And then the third piece of happy mail was also from a Mary. She had contacted me through Instagram and said that she was going to be sending something to me, and then she contacted me again and she goes, I've mailed it, but I forgot to put a note in it. Okay, I understand that. I really, really do. What she sent me was this. It is a book full of lovely designs and pieces that can be used for creating ephemera for my journals. And I've already used some of it. She also sent along another little package with some tags, some Christmas ephemera, a lovely card. So, Chris, Mary Lee, and Mary, thank you, all of you, for sending me stuff. I thanked each of them individually through Instagram. But like I said, it's been a while since I've been here, so I wanted to make sure that I thanked them on my videos too. Alrighty. I have a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here. But the main thing that I want to talk about is the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit put on by Acorns and Threads. It was held this past weekend in Portland, Oregon. It started Friday morning at 10 a.m. It ended Sunday afternoon at 12 noon. It was held up at the Embassy Suites, right next to Washington Square in Portland, Oregon. And again, it was put on by Acorns and Threads. This is the second live Stitch Summit that I've gone to. I had signed up for the first one, which was supposed to happen in 2020, and we all know that 2020 was, a lost cause. And 2021 it didn't happen, and 2022 it didn't, 2021 it didn't happen. 2022 ended up being the first live Stitch Summit. Not only is it a live, in-person retreat, they also made it available to people who wanted to be at the retreat via Zoom. And that was absolutely fantastic. Jeannine and her ladies, let's hope I don't miss anybody's name. There's Laurie and Jen and Sarah and Tasha and Ros, the former owner of Acorns and Threads, were all there to work as the crew putting on this retreat, and they did a fabulous job. And I especially want to shout out Tasha, because she is the one who was making sure that everybody on the Zoom portion of this retreat got to participate too. All of these ladies put on a absolutely fantastic retreat, and I would like to share some of my experiences there and some stories, as I do. So, I'm not going to go through and show everything that I received, because a lot of people who were at the live retreat brought along their own goodies to share with everybody. And I have a basket full of stuff that I received there, and it's just absolutely amazing. And I don't have names to go with all the stuff, and it kind of flowed over, and I have it in another little goodie bag. This one, I know who made it. This was given to me by Cheryl, one half of Stitching with the Sisterlies. When I show things, if I remember who I got them from, I will mention that. If I don't, thank you for anything that you gave to me. I really enjoyed getting all of it, and now I have the job of having to go through and sort it and get things put away. I myself wanted to make something and share with everybody. Last year I made bookmarkers, and I got about 60 of them made and felt bad that I didn't have enough to share with everybody. So this year I got started early and I made button postcards. And I had asked Jeannine how many people were going to be at the summit, and she said there'd be about 100. So I made 110 button postcards. And I ran out. I was going around passing them out to everybody at tables, and however many chairs there were at a table, I would put a button postcard out. And I got down to the last 2 tables and I had 5 left. So I missed all of one table and half of another table. And I was just like, well, obviously I didn't make enough. So I tried. I tried. We received a goodie bag. This year, it's a lunch bag. I have been looking for a new lunch bag, and this came at just the perfect time. And it is full of all sorts of stuff. Okay, take those out. So we received a notebook, and then there's a smaller notebook. We received a clip-on magnifier, which will be nice. A free pattern from Beth Twist. Beth was also there as part of the ladies from Acorns and Threads. See, I'm already forgetting things. We received some samples of Gloriana silks, a pen, some stickers, and a make and take that I have yet to put together because there was so much going on. Of course, we had 2 designers at the retreat. One was Tracy Horner from Ink Circles. The other, trying to get things put back in the bag so I can find myself when I'm done with this. One was, I just put it back in the bag. So organized. One was Tracy Horner from Ink Circles. And we received The Forest for the Trees. Along with that, we received some fabric. It is a 32 count Belfast linen called Atypical from Mystic Fabrics. It's a nice creamy color with some rose colored tint to it. And again, all the flosses. There is a little piece of floss jewelry there, needle bling or floss bling. It's a little jar with orts in it. Cool idea. Very cool idea. The other pattern, the other designer that we had there was Jodi Rice of Satsuma Street. And I will be showing her piece later because I actually started that one and I will share it later on in my video. So the retreat started Friday morning at 10 a.m. I actually got there Thursday evening, and I know a couple of other ladies had done the same thing. It simply made sense from where they were traveling from. Even some of us local people decided that we wanted to be up there early. So I got up there Thursday evening. I met up with Anna, Stitch Roadies, Cheryl, one half of Stitching with the Sisterlies, and Linda, who is AKA Van Mom on Instagram. And all three of these ladies are wonderful ladies, and I spent the majority of my time with them. I was not up and moving about a lot this weekend. But the four of us got together in my room Friday or Thursday night and did some stitching. And what I stitched on that night is Boo from Mama. I don't know who it's from. Mama Witch X Stitch. So what I was working on was down here. I was working on Herschel. I finished the frame he's holding around his head, and I stitched a little bit of his blue shirt and a little bit more of Mama's skirt. And that was the only stitching that I did on that for the rest of the weekend. Friday morning, we went downstairs. Now, Jeannine from Acorns and Threads had temporarily employed Anna and Cheryl and asked them to drive over to the shop Thursday evening and pick up all the boxes that had all the smalls for the smalls exchange in it, and I think some of the pattern box. They came back with a luggage rack full of boxes that were all things for the retreat and kept them in their room overnight. Anna kept saying she had all the smalls and she was going to look through them all. I don't think she did. I'm not saying she did. I'm saying she was teasing, you know. So Friday morning, they took that cart downstairs, and I wandered along with them, and so did Linda. Nope, Linda was not there Friday morning. And I just followed them right into the room where the retreat was going to take place. Set my stuff up over at the table where I knew Cheryl and Anna were sitting, and Jeannine politely kicked us out after that. Anna got to stay in. I think Anna is Jeannine's favorite, but you know, that's okay. It's all right. It is, sure. Still number one. You'll know more about that later. So we went back outside and waited until the retreat started. Now, I have to tell you, I am totally impressed. I have been to 2 Stitch Summits now, and prior to the Stitch Summits were her fall flings, which were day retreats. And even then, these ladies know how to put on a retreat. They keep things moving throughout the day. They have games that are played throughout the day. They are wandering around. They are talking to people. They are interacting. And now that they're doing the Stitch Summits and they're doing the via Zoom part of it also, They are interacting with people that are on the screen and highlighting people on the screen and sharing their stuff in the room. And it's just, it's the flow of the whole thing. There was always something going on. You could sit and stitch, you could play the games, they had raffles, you could participate in the smalls. I did. And this year, what they did was that anybody going, whether it was live or via Zoom, they could participate in the smalls exchange. All they had to do was stitch something that was 60 by 60 and finish it, and either deliver it to Acorns and Threads or send it in or bring it with them and turn it in Friday morning. And when you turned it in, you were issued a number. If you remember, I made the quirky needle tomato biscornu a couple months ago. I know I shared it on my videos. I turned it in early, and when I did, I asked Jeannine if anybody else had turned theirs in, and she said no. She said I was the first one. Later on, when Anna and Jeannine and Cheryl and Heather, Punky Pearls, all met up at Cheryl's house for a stitch day, Jeannine said the way they were going to do the smalls exchange was that the first person would be number 1, the second person turning it in would be number 2, and I said, oh, that means I'm number 1. And I was. If you've ever participated in a smalls exchange via Acorns and Threads, the way she does it is that the first person gets to go up and pick a bag. The second person that goes up can either pick a bag or steal what the first person got. The third person can go pick a bag or steal from number 1 or 2. If they steal, then that person gets to go pick a bag or steal from somebody prior. Something can be stolen twice, and the third person to end up with it is the one that it stays with. The funny thing about this exchange is that when Jeannine started it, she goes, it'll only take about 15 minutes. Plus 2 hours. Plus 2 hours. So I was the first person to be called up. And hold on a moment while I try to find my picture of what I got. This lovely piece here, this is a Darling and Whimsy Designs Quirky Quaker Squirrel, and the ornament that it's put in is a wood sandwich that is actually stitched together. But like I said, I was the first person to have that piece. Now, if you saw in that photo, Thing so very nicely became a model throughout the weekend and got to share his adventures holding various things. Yes, holding various things throughout the weekend. I would also like to point out that the person I was sitting next to, Cheryl, one half of Stitching with the Sisterlies, tried to steal Thing a number of times. And I would like you to keep that in mind. Cheryl tried to steal Thing. She tried to give Thing away a couple of times. Keep that in mind. Thing is home. Thing is home. So we're doing the smalls exchange, and it's proceeding. And as it proceeds, of course, people start stealing from those prior, because all of the things that were made as smalls, there were amazing, amazing items that were created by people. So many people used the little logo that Beth Twist had designed and used this. There was needle books made with this. There was a little bag made with this. There were pin pillows made with this. I mean, the creativity of how people were finishing their pieces was absolutely amazing. I can't remember whether Cheryl was number 10 or number 15. But she got her item, and not too long after that, someone stole it from her. Her pieces were stolen from her 6 different times. The last piece that she had, and I'm sure she's going to share this with you when they do their videos, was a beaded wrap around a pen that had PNWSS, Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, woven into the beading. And that was the last thing that she ended up with. But the game wasn't over. And as people were still taking their turns, every time somebody got up and started walking around the room, you knew they were going to steal from someone else. And every time they did that, like a good friend, I told Cheryl to hide her pen because I didn't want it to be stolen from her again. Remember that, like a good friend. So the game progresses, and it finally gets to the last person who's called, and she decides that rather than steal from anybody in the room, she was going to go grab the last bag that was up there. And when she did that, Cheryl takes that pen and starts doing a little dance, holding her pen. But then Jeannine says, per the rules of the game, there's one person who has not had a chance, had an opportunity to steal from anybody else. And that was the first person that had to come up and pick up the bag. That was number 1. That was me. And here's Cheryl dancing with this pen. And in that moment, I went from being a good friend to being a brat. And I stood up, and I looked at her, and I looked at the pen. And I saw her face morph to, oh my, she's going to steal my pen from me. And I let her think that for a few moments, and I said, no, I'm going to stick with what I got. You see, the first piece that I had was stolen from me. And when it was stolen from me, I stood up and I said, to clarify with Jeannine, the first person who got it, it could be stolen from. The second person who had it could be stolen from. So if I take it and I know that I'm taking it from the second person, that means this piece is mine and no one else can take it from me? And she said yes. So I went over and I stole this lovely, lovely pillow. The design is As the Shoe Fits by Primrose Cottage, and it was stitched by Dale. And this was what I got from the Smalls Exchange at the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. This is the second piece that I have stitched with this pattern on it, and I didn't stitch the first one either. I think both of these are lovely. So that was Friday. Like I said, throughout the day there had been raffles. I didn't win anything. We had a catered lunch. We left and had dinner that evening, and then we came back Saturday morning and there was more raffles. There was bingo played. It was so, so good. On Saturday, I decided that I was going to start the piece that the second designer, Jodi Rice of Satsuma Street, she gave us this pattern. Now, I have to tell you, these are not my colors. This is not my color palette in any way, shape, or form. But the fabric that she stitched this on is Havana. And I have stitched on Havana before, and I have told you before that I think Havana is just an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous color. These are the flosses that we got. Again, this is not my color palette. These are Cosmo threads, and they are absolutely beautiful, beautiful colors. Some of them have a DMC equivalent, some of them do not. The depth of colors in some of these are just absolutely gorgeous. So when I came home, I put them on some floss drops, and in all of the exchanges that everybody was doing, I got several different types of floss drops from people. There was one set that I have to share with you. This woman, I have to find the one with her name on it. Hold on, gotta find the squirrel. I know there's a squirrel in here. Smalls _ stitching _ squirrel on Instagram. This one was on the front of it. But she had made these floss drops with the Golden Girls on them. And they're double-sided. And let me find the other one. Da-da-da-da-da. So cute. So when I got home, I put all my Cosmo colors on the floss drops. Behind the Hobbit door in my crafting bureau, I have a rack there, and I don't have a tremendous amount of fancy floss. These I consider to be fancy floss because I don't have any other Cosmos. So I put them on the rings so that I can have them, and I have them sitting next to me when I'm stitching on my piece. Okay. So this is where I am at stitching on this piece. This is Turning Leaves by Satsuma Street. The fabric is Havana. And this is what I've gotten stitched so far. I did a center start. And I'm working out towards one corner, and Thing came up with an idea of what I could do with this. So I'm not going to share that with you just yet, but I have an idea that is percolating in my brain for how I want to finish this. And I have to tell you, while this may not be my color palette, on this fabric, these colors are absolutely stunning. Stunning. So I have an idea for how I want to finish that. I'm not going to share that idea with you right now because I'm a brat. All right. I have a table here. I have a desk there. They're both full. Where to put things? Sorry, that's my chair. It's an old oak principal's chair. I took another piece up with me because I wanted to share it with the people up there. And you've all seen me. I have been doing some stitching on this at home. And I did do some stitching on it up there, but I maybe put in a dozen stitches. And that's the Halloween balcony. And the reason I only put in about a dozen stitches is because there are so many color changes. I am working on the door, and there are so many color changes in it, and I didn't want to mess it up. But this is where I am at on this piece. I have to tell you, I think this is just one of the most gorgeous designs I have ever seen. But I took it with me because I wanted to share it with people live. And let me get up and be the backdrop here so you can see the detail that is made by adding the back stitching to this piece is just gorgeous. So much gorgeousness. And I know that when I get it done, I'm actually going to take it down to my local frame shop and have them frame it for me. Because while I do know how to frame things myself, sometimes the pieces are worth having somebody else do that for me. I did take one piece up there that I did not even start to stitch on because I stole the Q-snap. I had taken my Halloween seed sack by Carriage House Sampling. It is exactly in the same spot as it was that I showed you last time. So there is that. Those are the only pieces that I have been working on here recently. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They had a brag table up there, and I didn't take any pictures of that, but there were some absolutely gorgeous pieces up there. There was one, it's an ink circles pattern called Alien Girl Sampler. When I first saw it, I didn't realize it was an ink circles pattern. And then Tracy was talking about it when she did her presentation on her design. And so I had to go back and look at it. Go check it out. It is really, really an adorable sampler. There was a free table up there, and I managed to snag a couple of pieces of wool in these two colors. I already know that I will be using this one. I have an idea that I want to work with. I was also able to snag a couple of pieces of Ada. The first one is Rogue Stitching Title. It's a 16 count Ada. Lovely blue. Always need a lovely blue. I got another piece from Rogue Stitching. This is a 16 count Relic. When I go through my stash of fabrics, there are more things that look like this color in there than any others. That and this one. And this is also Rogue Stitching. This is Gingerbread. And this one is just gorgeous. So I managed to grab those from the free tables. And I think it was just being up there at the right time. I know that where they're at right now, I don't know. My library is a bit of a mess. Linda had come back with a couple of patterns that she thought I might like, and I think I kept one or two of them. But I don't know where they're at, because, you know, that happens. When I got home, I had some Happy Mail. If you remember, I had talked about the story I read as a child, Mr. Pine's Purple House, and the pattern with a house that I actually want to stitch that's in the Just Cross Stitch Halloween special this year. The piece that it's stitched, or the fabric that it's stitched on, is 16 count Ectoplasm by Oblong Meow. And I actually found her on Etsy and I ordered it. Look at this piece. This is gorgeous. So now that I have that, I might actually stitch a house. Willingly stitch a house. Okay. Overall, the Stitch Summit was absolutely fantastic. Like I said, the ladies from Acorns and Threads, they know what they're doing. They involved everybody who was there, whether they were live and in the room or live and via Zoom. Words. Sunday morning, everything was wrapping up. People were packing up. People were heading out. I was walking around and talking to people and saying goodbye to those that I knew. And I got over to this one table, and there was a lady sitting there, and her name is Susan. And the reason that I bring her up is because back in 2018, I attended my first fall fling put on by Acorns and Threads. Like I said, Fall Fling was the precursor to the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. It was a day retreat. Friday evening, you could go up to Acorns and Threads for a 2-hour open shop. Then Saturday morning, you went over to the Oregon Bar to a conference room there where they had the retreat set up. And it went from like 9 to 5, 9 to 4, 9 to 5. Then you went home or went to your hotel somewhere if you were traveling. And then you came back Sunday morning and it was like 9 to 3. 2018 was the first time I went there. It was the first retreat I had been to after I started making my floss tube videos. And I was sitting at a table and Susan came up to me and said, "I watch your videos." And my brain froze. My brain froze and started thinking all of these things all at one time. Oh my God, what do I say? How do I do this? What, And basically, I had the deer in the headlight look because a live person had come up to me and said, "I watch your videos." And I didn't know how to respond. I think I apologized to Susan the following year when we met up again. And it was brought up again here this year when I was at the table and she was there. And we talked about it. And she made a comment that I wanted to address. And she said, she's always liked watching my videos because I make her laugh. That is a comment that I have gotten so many times in the now 6 years that I have been making videos, that I have made somebody laugh. And I have to tell you, that is the best, the absolute best comment I ever receive. To know that somebody appreciates my sense of humor, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea. We've talked about it. I'm a rusty bucket of haunted bog water. My humor is dry, somewhat morbid, but I know the power of laughter. I know that in the worst of times, laughter can be a really, really good thing. And if you can find it, no matter how, it can lighten the darkest of times. So, thank you, Susan, for being the first to come up to me and say, "I watch your videos," or "You watch my videos." And thank you for still being there. It's been a journey. It's been 6 years, and it's been a journey. That first fall fling, there were 4 floss tubers. This year, on, I think it was Saturday night, Jeannine asked everyone who had a floss tube to stand up. There were 100 people in this room, and a lot of them stood up. Jeannine said that they would be collecting the names of all the floss tube videos, and she's going to send out an email. So when she sends out that email, I plan on including that list of floss tubers on my next video so that you have more people from the Pacific Northwest to watch. I had so much fun up there last weekend. I had one day of it not feeling particularly well. Everybody was so supportive of me there. Thank you very much. But overall, if you have the opportunity to do a retreat, please do. Even if it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. That room was so full of positive energy, so much laughter, so much joy, so much creativity, because here you have 100 people in the room another 80 plus people on Zoom, and you have every kind of stitching imaginable. People who stitch in hand, people who stitch in Q-staps, people who stitch with hoops, people who stitch on floor stands, people who stitch on perforated paper, people who stitch on Aida, 14, 16, 18 count, people who stitch on linen from 28 count to 56 count. It was all there. The finishes, the way all those smalls were finished, the creativity was absolutely amazing. Julie brought down Sunday morning a little turnstile, and if you look on my Instagram, thing was there, sharing some of Julie's peyote stitched beaded fobs. These were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. There were people there that had their jewelry boxes that they had taken and turned into sewing boxes. I know on Anna's video she highlights Margaret's because Margaret had a big jewelry, two-tier jewelry box that she has turned into a sewing kit. If you get a chance to go to a retreat, there's so much goodness there. The accoutrements that people have, the things that they created, little stitchy bags that you could put things in. This little ort catcher. It's a quilted ort catcher. Absolutely amazing. And I don't remember the name of the lady who was Jackie, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I had the pleasure of sitting at the table with Anne Fraser, Gloriana Silks. She had a new silk that she hadn't named yet, and it was decided at the table that this would be River Rock. So we all got a sample of it. Margaret made for some people this wonderful little knitted pumpkin and passed them out. Anna made some pin cushions. She uses the stabby thing to make her pin cushions, unlike me, who's now going to be using all the nylon to make more of my pin cushions. But she made me one that looks like a bloodshot eye in a pumpkin cup. So much creativity in that room. It was absolutely amazing. Now, me, like a dummy, I've been there before, and I know that Acorns gives everybody a name badge to wear, and you get a little button or charm that you can stitch onto your name badge. I was nameless all weekend because I left my name badge at home. But I had seen a couple of ladies there who had enhanced their name badges, which gave me an idea. So when I came home, I quickly tore mine apart and I found some fabric that's perfect for me, and I redid my name badge so that it has Halloween fabric on it. And then I restitched all my charms from the different things that I have gone to. So I'm now going to make sure this goes in my Acorns bag and stays in my Acorns bag so that the next time I do a retreat, I won't be nameless. I have no idea if I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about. Like I said, my room's a mess. There's piles on the floor, there's piles on the table, there's piles on the desk. But I think I covered everything. So, October 10th will be here in 19 days, and I get my appendix out, and I will have 2 weeks off after that. And I'm looking forward to feeling better and not talking about this anymore. I think that's it. Let's do this together thing. Live long and stitch on, everyone. Bye-bye.